When you think of hyper luxury cars, what do you think of? What springs to mind? Maybe Bentley, Rolls Royce? Maybe this. This is the Genesis GV70, a brand that you might have not even heard of, and this is their mid-size or large in the UK SUV. My name's Sam, and if you're new here, this is the Carcode YouTube channel. I make new car reviews and car content every single week, so make sure to hit subscribe down below for more content. Let's get on with the review of the GV70. Looks like a Bentley Bentayga. It's actually quite a bit smaller. It's very hard, this car, to judge its size on photographs. I think on video and photo it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. It is still a large car. It's about the same size as a BMW X3, an Audi Q5 and the Porsche Macan. So that puts it in a bit of perspective if you've seen any of those cars in the metal. This particular car today is finished in the store green metallic, olive almost, really nice, a little bit different. So there's a few different exterior colours to choose for your GV70. As standard, you get the Alta White, which is a solid white, which suits the look of the car, looks very elegant. However, I like the look of the, I'm trying to say this right, Uni white, which will be like a metallic pearly white. That'll be great. You can also get Capri Blue, which is like a dark, quite nice navy. A few different colours to choose from on your GV70. However, they've kept it quite understated and quite tasteful, making it look even more premium. I do like a bit of fun though, a bit of wacky colours. You can also get a matte paintwork as well, Macalou Grey, which is a dark grey mattified, if you like, quite like what Mercedes do. That's over £1,000 optional extra if you want something a little bit different. To the front of the GV70, you have a very bold, clear, impactful look with this crest grille, as they call it, kind of a shield shape, and then the Genesis badge proudly up there on the top that kind of flows into the bonnet. That's stunning. I really like how they've done that and placed it there. You've got slightly different trims down here depending on what model you go for as well. As you can see, you've got the Genesis headlights as well, which look incredible. And you can see the LED daytime running lights. Such a signature look and very unique to Genesis. It's great when a brand finds that signature that makes them instantly recognizable, and Genesis have hit the nail on the head with this. Having this across the whole range looks incredible. I love how they wrap around the car and have more of that curvy look. The bonnet lips over, so it kind of is a clamshell. A lot of people don't like this look and the kind of big crease along the edge of the bonnet. I don't mind this. I don't think there's an issue with it. I think it looks quite nice. So you can see what I mean here. The bonnet ever so slightly juts out over here, but I do quite like how it curves over. I don't think it's a mega problem that some people have said they don't like it, but it doesn't bother me. It's quite an elegant look. They've done a good job with it. And onto my favourite angle of this car, it's the side. We see a lot of SUVs now look very boxy, very big and very formulaic, with their small SUV looking like their big SUV, looking like their medium SUV, all the same. This, not so much. You have almost this estate wagony like look that's raised up, really nice curves. You don't have many sharp angles, which is quite unusual for the Hyundai Group. We see a lot of sharp lines and angles in the Tucson, for example. This feels completely different. As I say, it is a Hyundai Group product, but it doesn't feel anything like those products. There's not much about it that you can find that feels like a Hyundai or a Kia car. This is lovely, this sort of tail fin here that goes round. A lot of people don't like this, but I think it looks really nice. I really like that design. And then it comes down here. You can see here it doesn't have tinted windows. On the sport model, you do get the tinted windows, but I don't mind not having a tint at the back. It looks a bit different because pretty much every SUV now has got the tinted windows at the back. It's very elegant, it's very classic. It's like modern mixed with classic, so I really like it, especially in this colour. These handles are quite Mercedes. There's definitely elements of all different types of cars, but when you blend it all together, it's Genesis, and that's kind of what you can't mistake in it for anything else. And to the back of the GV70, you can see the two light design continues, just wrapping around the edge of the car, making it look really wide. As you can see at the back here, you've got this diffuser section, and then these oblong-like outlets for your exhaust. Your exhausts are actually round, they're just set back a bit. These aren't fake exhausts then as such, because they are there, the real exhaust. They're just a nice surround, just making it look very nice and elegant. There is one thing that has disappointed me about the rear of the GV70 though, and it happens with a lot of Hyundai cars, and it's the indicator placement. You'd think with these beautiful dual tail lamps that they'd be sweeping across the edges of the vehicle, looking very elegant and impactful and very clear where the car's going, but not quite. As you can see, unfortunately, the indicator is down here. quite low down, as with lots of the group's cars, which I don't 100% understand why they do put them so low down and not higher up. Moving on to wheels available on the GV70, you can choose between 19 or 21-inch wheels depending on the trim. Not sure what happened to the 20-inch wheel, but they just have 19 or 21s. It starts off with the 19-inch light alloy wheels on the premium model, which is your base model. They look quite nice and they come with silver calipers, much like this model here. Going up to the sport model, you get 19-inch silver wheels as well, with red brake calipers as standard, but you can also opt for the black ones if you like those. On the sport model, if you want black calipers, they're £280 optional extra, which is quite a lot, but I think they look better than having a red caliper. I don't know why, it doesn't really suit the look of the car, I don't think, the red calipers, but I have to see one in person. You can also upgrade to the 21-inch kind of a waffle design wheel on the sport model. They're over £1,000 optional extra and over £1,300 if you want that wheel with the black calipers, which I think looks excellent. And last but not least, on the luxury model, which this one is here today, you get the 21-inch dark sputtering alloy wheel, as they call it. Looks incredible. These are beautiful. I think they definitely look like the best wheels on the car. And I really like the silver calipers with Genesis written on those. I think they look very elegant, very classic. The bigger wheels definitely suit the car. The ride is actually very good. It's a very wafty, floaty SUV. Your seats are very comfortable, so you don't feel too unsettled. And then this centre cap's kind of a carbon fibre look, which looks really great. Okay, so how does the GV70 perform out on the road? It's a big wafty kind of SUV, so I guess the 21-inch wheels and the slightly firmer suspension help with that, but it doesn't feel super firm. Now this is the 2.5 litre turbocharged petrol 4-cylinder that's in this model today. There's currently 2 engines on offer and also the electrified full electric GV70 as well. Here you can see the engine bay, really nice with these struts here, it looks very good. This one is a 2.5 litre turbocharged petrol with 300 brake horsepower. That gets you from 0 to 62 in just 6.1 seconds, so it's a very nippy vehicle. All of our cars in the UK are all-wheel drive on the GV70. Other markets get a rear-wheel drive base model. There's 2 engines on offer in the GV70. To start off with, you have the 2.2 litre turbocharged diesel 4-cylinder engine, which gets you from 0 to 62 in 7.6 seconds. That car has 201 brake horsepower and 440 Newton meters of torque. Very torquey, as you'd expect from a diesel, great for towing, etc. And that'll give you a better combined MPG figure than this petrol. If you do want the petrol model, you do have to pay a £500 premium on top of the diesel, and you will also be hit with higher running costs as well, of course. And it has an impressive 420 Newton meters of torque, so nearly matching the diesel. It is a good smooth engine, you can hardly hear it when you're moving, so that's great. However, it does guzzle quite a bit of fuel, which is a little bit unfortunate. We don't have hybrids or plug-in hybrids as of yet, but there is rumours, especially across the pond, that those are on the way. So we'll just have to wait and see, because that could be a very popular thing, I can imagine, on the GV70s. At the moment, all of the internal combustion GV70 vehicles are £600 road tax per year, which is in line with most premium SUVs this size. In the US and other regions, they do get a 3.5 litre turbo petrol as well. In the UK, for probably obvious reasons, we don't get a 3.5 turbo petrol, we get this 2.5. The downside of that excellent torquey petrol engine is it drinks a lot of fuel. It's fun, but I've been getting about 25 to the gallon over the last few days with this car. It's not that great, even for this sort of size of car, it's not excellent, and they also don't offer a hybrid at the moment. So yeah, it picks up its speed very fast and it sounds great. Here we go. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun and it's fast, but it's definitely not frugal. It feels big, but just at that tipping point where any bigger would be way too big. So a GV80 is available in the UK, but I think that's massive. We've seen quite a lot of cars this size now. Even though it looks like a Bentley Bentayga, it's not quite as big, which is good. And of course, it's much more affordable than a Bentley Bentayga, with this starting at just over £42,000. This car that I'm driving today is over £56,000. as it has got a few option packs on it, and it is the top of the range luxury model as well. However, if you wanted something from an ultra premium brand, let's say Porsche, if you look at a base Macan or a Macan the same price as this, it looks very basic. It does not look like a luxury top-end model, whereas this looks very luxury, very top-end. It's quite nice to have something a little bit different that not everybody has and not everybody drives. Everyone's got an X3 now, everyone's got a Q5. GV70, not many people have got one of these. You can feel a bit smug almost that you're a bit exclusive with this car. Now it's got an 8-speed automatic transmission, all of the GV70s do, nice and smooth. It's just a traditional torque converter gearbox, which I really liked. At slower speeds, it's a bit clunkier, especially because it's not hybridized, so you don't start in an electric mode or anything like that. I think the most similar car I've driven is definitely the Volkswagen Touareg. I think that feels most similar to this. And when you look at the fuel economy figures, that's what it matches. So it matches those premium Volkswagen Group SUVs with the Macan and the Touareg. They both get 26, 27 miles per gallon. This is the same, it's going for that. Whereas if you look at just a Q5 or X3, they're normally up to that more 36, 37 miles per gallon. It's not the most frugal motor to drive, but you do feel rather luxury driving it. Right, national speed limit now. Whee! But then it kind of lags and then keeps flying for a little bit, gives you a bit of extra oomph after, which is quite fun. Oh, there's a Bentley. But if you want to put your foot down and go fast, it does fly. It's its own platform, this car, so it doesn't really feel much like the Kia and Hyundai products. It's quite in its own element. You've got this rotary gear selector, very much like what we see in the Ford products. However, it is very close to the infotainment control. I'm just using my paddles there to slow down, because you do have the 8-speed automatic paddles, which is a nice thing to have. And then you can hold down on the D1 and just knock it back into drive, and then the car is just on auto then. It's very calming to drive. You don't feel as connected to the road as you do in some other cars. I think a lot of people like the BMWs for that reason, with their heavier steering and their kind of even firmer suspension. But I think this is a good blend. It's one of the most luxurious interiors I've ever been in. It's all done very well, all feels very premium. You may think because this is a Hyundai product that might feel a little bit like they've just put a Porsche badge on it. No, it doesn't feel like that. It actually feels like a premium product, and I should expect the lower trims, even so, would still feel that premium. But this top end trim, of course, is the state of the art, exactly what Genesis want to put out there. This is the 14.5-inch infotainment screen, which is standard on all models. It's all controlled through this rotary dial here, which is really easy to use. It's very, like everyone said, it's very like BMW's iDrive system. This is actually touch sensitive as well, so you can just scroll along there if that works better for you. You've got the rotary gear selector, which this becomes a bit of an issue because they're so close to each other that it's a bit of a pain. I would have quite liked if once you're in gear that this disappeared until you stopped and then it popped back up. That would work quite well, but you do get used to it, and I prefer it to the clunky column shifters that we get from Hyundai recently, which are really ugly and not the nicest. Your climate controls all through this center panel here. I love the physical climate controls as well. I think they're great. Even though this bit is in a screen, it's got the haptic feedback and it's really good. I find it really easy to use. Your fan speed's easily accessible on there as well. And if you do want to see the climate, you can also bring it up on the screen as well if you want to see a little bit more in depth. Down here you do have a wireless charging pad. This is an option on the innovation pack, it's included, so that's really nice. Such a good premium feature to have this little cover that goes over, and it lets you know on the screen that it's charging, so that's great, and it's worked every time. 2 cup holders here, that's nice, and you've got this armrest down here. Now this is the Napa leather interior, which is £2,350 optional extra. This one is the Havana Unana brown interior, which has received some mixed reviews from whoever I've showed this car to. Personally, I quite like it. I wouldn't pick it for myself, but it's more exciting than a black interior. I like the vanilla beige myself. The worst one I think is like the pine green colour. Not sure about that. Even though this is a very dark green on here, it looks black, that's fine. but the pine green is like quite a bright, dark emerald green, and everything is that colour, and I'm not sure what I think about that one, but I do like the vanilla beige. The black's fine, and there is also a burgundy that you can go for as well, which looks like it would be quite nice. I'd go for the vanilla beige though, and just be very careful keeping it very clean. I think some nice options for interior. They've definitely done a good job with interior. It feels very classic, but at the same time different from what we've seen from all the other German manufacturers, for example, so that's great. Another thing that's great, these headrests are so comfortable. Normally a leather headrest and a seat sometimes is quite taut and hard, but these are so comfortable. At least in this Napa one, I've not sat in the normal leather. This is the quilted Napa leather. On this luxury model, you do get leather as standard though, in the black or vanilla beige, but obviously all this is leather, and then all of this with the double stitching is stunning. It's so well done and looks great. You have all this kind of knurled detail everywhere, and not a little bit of gloss black anywhere apart from this screen section here. That's it. So I really like that. It's refreshing, it feels quality. I love the Alcantara on the A-pillars as well, and then the roof lining's got a similar feel to it. Oh, so premium and plush. You can get a sunroof as well. Lots of the time I will complain about a dark headlining and want a sunroof, but I've not had that issue with this car at all. I felt cozy, but I felt like I've got a really good view out. These are nice and thin, and then you've got this quarter light here. The mirrors are big, but not over big. You get a good view out, so I felt really happy. Not much blind spot out the back as well. This is the normal steering wheel, which is very boat-like, very chauffeury car, very Mercedes, I think. But you can get the sport steering wheel on the sport model. Most people prefer that. I would say so, I do as well. The 12.5-inch digital dial display is very clear. The 14.5-inch display is massive as well, and it is touchscreen, but you do have your rotary dial, thank God, because I may be blessed with long legs, but I don't have very long arms. Reaching is a bit of a struggle, and if you're short, it'll be even more of a struggle. So not only does this car have the innovation pack, which includes things like the around view monitor, the front park sensors, the wireless charging and the heads up display, to name a few things, it's got quite a lot on it. It also has the comfort seat pack, which is AGR approved, which is the back specialist people. Basically it means the seats are very comfortable. That's over £1,600, but it gives you this extra adjustment here for under your legs, which is quite nice. It would be nice if it went a little bit higher up. It also gives you this massage function, which is actually quite good. I had it on yesterday and I was quite impressed with it. There's a pelvis one which basically makes you do this. Like, it's literally like raises each bum cheek up. It's a little bit weird. It feels like you're on a bumpy road. Quite interesting, but the back one was really good. And then you've got the lumbar support, which is very good because it goes quite high actually. 360 camera is part of this innovation pack, which is quite good. However, it does make me always feel a little bit disorientated, but you get a rear camera as standard anyway. Front sensors are not standard though. What? That doesn't make sense on a car this big. That makes zero sense. You've got the heads-up display there included with the innovation pack. They've colour-coded the car as well. That's nice, isn't it? And this is very crystal clear. The above view, one of the clearest I've ever seen, so that's great. And you can still have your maps or whatever up at the same time just because how big the display is, which is great. It's very posh. Something in the innovation pack that I just knew I had to try is the remote smart parking assist. So what you do is you hold down the lock on the car, you start the engine up from the key, there we go, and then you can just press the forward button or back and you can just start walking your car. Come on, off we go, come on. That is a bit crazy. I'm just walking a 2-ton SUV like it's a dog. It's actually quite cool though. Like, look, I'm just walking my car. What are you doing? I'm just taking my car for a walk. Why are you stopping? Come on, come on. It goes incredibly slow, and as soon as you let go, it stops. It can go backwards as well, by the way. Reverse, reverse. It does it very slowly, but it does it. Come on. I can tell it to sit as well, watch. Sit. Good boy. What? One reason you might be buying an SUV like this would be for practicality. Here we go. You can see it looks pretty decent. You've got this retractable low cover, which tends to sit quite low. It's normally quite higher up in other cars, but that is retractable. Gives you quite a generous 542 litres of boot space. That's bigger than the internal combustion engine Porsche Macan, which gives you 488 litres. It's also bigger than the brand new Audi Q5, which gives you 520 litres. It can't quite get up to the size that a Mercedes GLC offers though, or a Volvo XC60 petrol. Most cars in this class tend to have a boot size anywhere between 500 and 600 litres, so this is right about bang on average for this class. It is quite high up though, that's the thing. You don't have a lot of height compared to other models. See, this car is so posh. I thought there's a box of chocolates or something. The owner's manual is in its own little box. You've got a tiny bit of storage under there. I think this will be plenty big enough for most families, most people. This should be fine. The seats do fold down as well in the back, and you do have the levers here to fold them down should you wish, and you can see there that gives you a very flat low bay. You can then also remove the parcel shelf out of there. You can see the seats are 60-40 split there as well, and you have your different levels of recline, so you can be a bit more sat back or a little bit more upright. Let's jump in the back of the GV70. What's it like? Well, very comfortable. Knee room is a little disappointing, but it's actually not the longest car. In fact, there's some cars that are a lot longer than this. A Bentayga is over a foot longer than this vehicle. Loads of headroom though, even though it's got a slightly sloping roofline. I've got loads of headroom, and then I've got this armrest back here as well, which is very good quality, very comfortable. 2 USB ports back here, and you've also got tri-zone climate control with the heated outer seats on this one, which I really love. You're sitting a little bit higher up than you do in some other SUVs of this size, and you get quite big windows, so kids should really like it in the back of here. It's very open and airy, which is great. Even with this very dark headlining, it doesn't feel dingy in here, so that's great. You do also have these sunshades as well. They've not scrimped on the materials even in the back anywhere. Everything is really nice, which is great. Let's just check out the middle seat and see how that is. We've got this big tunnel to put your feet over, and it's quite wide, so you do have to kind of spread out a bit. So it's not the best middle seat. It's a bit firm this here because the armrest, that's always the case normally with the middle seat. These outer seats are very comfortable though. So then, that is my time with the GV70 up, and what have I thought of it? Well, I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a great opportunity, so a huge thank you to Genesis UK for making this video possible. It's been great to live with this car for a week. It is truly luxurious. It's got a really smooth ride, even with these big wheels, and very comfortable seats as well. The fuel economy does let it down. I've averaged over my short time with this doing a couple of hundred miles, 24.1 miles per gallon, and that's a mixture of eco mode and comfort mode and sport mode, a little bit of everything, and I've not been flooring it everywhere, so it's not great on fuel. The official figures are around 28-29 miles per gallon, but I didn't manage to quite reach that, apart from on a few journeys where I was very careful on the throttle. However, it's not a budget car. Even though it is cheaper than other premium alternatives, it is still an expensive vehicle. It's very large. I wouldn't need a car this big. It is good value if you're looking for something that has that truly premium feel. This definitely gives you that feeling. You don't feel shortchanged whatsoever. Great to drive. The 8-speed automatic gearbox was very smooth as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks again to Genesis UK. There's more exciting Genesis content to come up on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure to leave your comments down below as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.